Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another live stream. We have like 3 days until the Game Week 1 deadline. It is absolutely panic stations right now. This is the point of pre-season when we let our biases get the best of us and we tear up our draft, change it completely, and then regret everything. So we need to try and remain calm across these 3 days here. But what we also need to do is react to new information. I've been speaking about a lot across the last couple of weeks how there is this extremely fine line and balance to be had between reacting to the new information because you want to take that on board, but also not being super stubborn. Like, it's really hard to try and find that balance, and that's where I'm at right now. Like, we know that Salah, for example, wasn't fantastic in 2025. One game shouldn't completely change our opinion, should it? But then you've got another game to add to the sample size of maybe not doing it completely. Florian Wirtz looked great again. Ekitike took his goal really well. That Community Shield game threw a few spanners in the work, right? We're all now looking and saying, do we want more Palace assets? It's crazy. I would just say, by the way, in Crystal Palace, I think a lot of people don't realise. So Palace lost their appeal. So Palace are now in the Europa Conference League, not the Europa League. What that means is Crystal Palace have to play like a qualifier in between Game Week 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. So Crystal Palace will play Game Week 1 in the Prem, Europa Conference League qualifier, Game Week 2, Europa Conference League qualifier, Game Week 3. So in the space where a lot of other teams are going to have 3 games, they'll have 5, and Palace just don't have the depth. And obviously they're going to want to go far in Europe, so they're going to be playing their full-strength team with quite a few games early on. So yeah, I would just keep an eye on Crystal Palace. They're a great team to invest in. But yeah, let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know what you're doing right now. If you're watching this live, please do subscribe. But especially if you're watching this back as a video and you enjoy it today, please do consider subscribing. We're trying to hit 160,000 subscribers before the start of Game Week 1. I'd really appreciate the support, and do drop a like as well. Right, should we just jump into the key discussion today? The key discussion is Salah. It's not the only thing we're going to discuss today. We're going to look a little bit about other players that have done really well in pre-season. We're going to take a look a little bit about like maybe rating a couple of your drafts. We're going to take a look at other players that I like the look of. So it's not just going to be a Salah versus no Salah only. So if you're watching this thinking, I know I'm going to go without, or I know I'm going to have him, you should still gain some value from this live stream, hopefully. Scott with the big boy super chat already says, hi, I have Sanchez, Juve, Milenkovic, Gvardiol. Okay, good back. Just be careful, Gvardiol wasn't in the most recent squad. Tielemans, Reminder. I assume that's a typo for Reinders. Anderson, Wirtz, Salah, Haaland, Pedro. Great team. Listen, if you're going to go for a Salah Haaland draft, I've been saying for a while, if you want Salah and Haaland, you drop Palmer, and I think you've done that well, so you've got a nice balance. I just don't really think you can get both Salah and Haaland, and then also add Palmer on that as well. Good to see loads of the mods in the chat and the members. I do appreciate you very much. Big love. Right, let's do this. So, let me first of all show you where my draft is sat if I have Salah in. Now, this could change a lot over the coming days. I'll obviously have a team selection video on Thursday. So depending when you're watching that official team selection video will be out on Thursday. I really do like this draft. And this is the only thing that keeps bringing me back to, do I really need to drop Salah if I can build a draft that I'm quite happy with that also has Salah in it? Like, I genuinely think this draft is really, really good. So it's Sanchez in goal. I could go Sells, by the way. I know Colwell's ACL injury makes Chelsea weaker, but I just don't know that I definitely want to double up on the Forest defence. I've then got Pedro Porro, Juve, and Williams. It's a little bit cheap, but I think Pedro Porro and a Forest defender looks great. And I think Juve at 4.5 million looks great too. I would love to have Milenkovic or Murillo instead of Nico Williams, but finding 0.5 is tough. That then means the midfield 5, it looks a little bit template, I suppose, but I'm not seeing many people that are managing to get all 5 in, which is Palmer, Salah, Fernandes, Wirtz, and Anderson. I would love Reinders. I'll be honest. Reinders is the one I want. But in this draft, I need that 5.5 mid to play every week. And as of right now, I just don't know for sure that Reinders will play every week. Whereas Anderson, he might miss the odd game, but I don't expect it. Like, since he came right into the starting 11 and his minutes went up around the midpoint of the season, he's just been pretty nailed on. And then the front 2, as a result, is Watkins and Fulkrug. That then means, obviously, the bench is Dubravka, Guiu, and by the way, Guiu looks like he's going to be not fit for Game Week 1, or at least match fit for Game Week 1. Dubravka's a doubt, right? So this is binning off the bench boost, but the bench is Dubravka, Anderson, Guiu, and Estev. Okay, I've said what I like about the draft in terms of what don't I like. It obviously doesn't have a very strong bench. It doesn't have a forward over 6 million outside of Watkins. So I don't have a João Pedro. I don't have a Mateta in there. So there's no sort of mid-price forward. I'm having to start my 5.5 million mid every week because I don't have an 8th attacker. And then in the defense, I've got no 6 million defender, only one 5.5, and then I've got two 4.5s and a 4. So essentially, what am I doing here? I'm sacrificing one mid-price forward, an 8th attacker, a bit of bench depth, and then the defense are being sacrificed in order to get a midfield, which involves Palmer, Salah, Fernandes, Wirtz, and also Ollie Watkins. Robinson injured. Yeah, it sounds like Anthony Robinson won't be fit for the start of the season. That was the latest I heard. By the way, I hope you like the new stream graphics. We've got obviously the deadline counter, projected points courtesy of Fantasy Football Hub, my own captaincy ranking, and then at the moment there's just injury news rotating down the bottom left, along with some of my predictions ahead of Game Week 1, which I'll of course update. But yeah, please, again, if you're not subscribed to the channel and you're watching this either live or back as a video, please do consider subscribing. Plenty more to come. So what I want to do is I want to have a bit of a chat about Salah, right? And whether it's worth having Salah, firstly, and then what can you do if you drop Salah. So what we're actually going to do is jump over to FootMob. And I should note, by the way, that FootMob are very kindly sort of partnering with my channel for a bit of this season. So I really do appreciate that. If you don't know who FootMob are, you should by now. I think it's something like crazy. Like millions of people use FootMob. It's completely free. It's basically your best football companion app. So if you want to check sort of live scores, fixtures, lineups, whatever it is, FootMob is the one. Like, in fact, let me actually show you. I think I'll be able to mirror my phone. Here we go. On the app, like, you've just got so much. So if you head over to the Premier League, obviously you're going to have the standard stuff like the table, like the fixtures. If you just click on a team, though, you're going to have so much information on there that is just so useful. So they give you a daily summary, which is really useful during the transfer window. You've got, obviously, the table. You've got their league position over the last few years. You've got really interesting sort of season-long data. If we then obviously change to last season, because the Premier League hasn't started here, you've got so much useful stuff. Open play goals, set piece goals, free kicks, penalties, own goals. You've got different FootMob ratings as well to see who's performing well at the time. Like, look at everyone in the chat. Often when you talk about an ad or something like that, people are like, no, it's not. Like, everyone, FootMob is just the go. Like, it's got so much stuff. If we click on a specific game, let's choose one from the Premier League last season. Let's choose a game where Man United actually won. Let's choose the final game of the season. You've obviously got really useful stuff around commentary, so you can have live commentary there. You've got the lineups too. If you click on a specific player, like let's click on Bruno Fernandes, for example, look at all of this cool data. XG on target, you've got expected goals. You can actually track, by the way, you can track DEFCON live now, right? Because they've got like this, basically the CBIT stats. Look at this, tackles won, recoveries, dribble past. Let me click on a defender. If we like click on Aiden Heaven, you've got CBIT basically in here, right? So clearances, blocks, interceptions, tackles. So if you want to track and you want to be that nerdy, you can track CBIT live. What else have you got in here? Just so much. Let me go back on one of the games. Let me go on that Man United one. By the way, I'm mirroring my phone over there if you're wondering why I'm looking in the sort of distance like that. You've got, let me then go on stats for the game. You've got really interesting stuff about what happens in the first half, the second half. And then look at all of these, just beautiful graphics. And honestly, you can spend your entire life on FootMob and you'll always have something to do. So if you want to support me, it's completely free. So I'm not asking you to pay for anything or spend your money. Just download FootMob. There'll be a link in the chat, in the description as well. Afterwards, I'll pin a comment too, but give it a go. We're going to be using it throughout this stream. I won't keep banging on about downloading it, maybe a couple of times, but do give it a download. Like, I really do highly recommend it. Just in terms of ease of viewing, I'm going to use the website rather than the app today, but I do recommend giving the app a download. So let's look at Mohamed Salah. The first thing I want to talk about is there has been a drop-off in 2025, right? So what you've got here is sort of the ratings, and I'm not saying you only go based off of FootMob's ratings, right? I absolutely don't recommend that's the only thing you use. But it's a good determiner of, like, are they putting in decent performances? The back end of last season was not great for Mohamed Salah, right? So you've got 6.5, 6.5, and 6.8 for his last 3 games of the season. He obviously got the goal against Spurs. If we actually just switch this to Premier League, look at his end to the season. He scored on the final day, obviously, against Crystal Palace. He got a goal against Spurs. He got an assist against West Ham. So that means in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, in the final 9 games of the Prem, it's 2 goals and 1 assist. So we're not just basing this off of pre-season. We're not saying, based off pre-season, we're not going to have Mohamed Salah. There has been a bit of a drop-off. And even before that, right, I'm not just saying for the final ones, there was a notable drop-off in terms of his underlying data and his performances. So that's the first thing. Then if we also go back to all competitions, he has been really stinking it up in pre-season. His creativity's still been decent enough, right? He's still got a goal against Athletic. He got, what was that? I think he's just got one goal. He hasn't even got any assists, but he has been creating chances. Like in this game here, he created a decent number of chances, right? So where was it? He missed a big chance and he created 6. So I do think there has to be here some level of like, not just looking at the outcome. 6 chances created, 1 big chance missed, 6 touches in the opponent's box. He could have very easily come away with that with like 2 assists and a goal. And maybe we're not having this same chat. I just think if you watch Salah right now, and I think it was on the FPL Wire, they had a Liverpool supporter come on and talk about it. He's just not going to be, I don't think, quite as involved in what is going on in every single way. What do you think? I mean, let me know in the chat what you think. Am I going mental? Because like Salah's achieved in, is it 7 or 8 consecutive seasons now over 200 points? He's the only player to hit 300 points in FPL, and he got 344 points last season. He's on penalties. He's always going to be the main man for Liverpool. Is this overthinking it? Like, is it overthinking it? Or do you genuinely think for 14.5 million, you might need a little bit more? I honestly have no idea what the correct answer is, but what I at least want to say is I think it's viable. I don't know which one I'll go for. I may well pivot back. And like I say, at the moment, I am on a Salah draft. I just really, really like the look of a no Salah draft. And I think we've seen enough from Salah that he's not been, again, quite at it. Have we missed any transfers, by the way, that have happened? Let's go Premier. By the way, on the FootMob app or on the FootMob site, you can sort by transfers. I've been using this to just stay up to date with the latest transfers. I mean, nothing really, but by the way, let's go sort by, latest transfers. You've got, obviously, Darwin and Diaz. It looks by all accounts, by the way, that Isak will join Liverpool. And the thing is, if Isak joins Liverpool, is that, again, one more player to take away not take away the attacking returns from Salah, but to spread the goals. Because the great thing about Salah is that he was so heavily involved in everything last year. You've got Wirtz, Gakpo, Ekitike, potentially Isak. Like, Salah can't be involved in 55-60% of the goals this season, I don't think. Watch him score a hat-trick. This is just top transfers. Oh, there we go. That's why. Let me go Premier League all transfers. Here we go. I was going to say they weren't the most recent. Yeah, by the way, Hermansen's obviously joined West Ham too. Yeah, if you've not seen, by the way, let me switch back to the FPL site. If you've not yet seen, it looks like, as of right now, Eze could be potentially looking at a move to Spurs. So yeah, if you've not seen the news as of this morning, Eze to Spurs. What do we make of that? I mean, that probably makes Kudus a no-go, just because they're going to have even more players for that team. They're looking at Savinho as well. Like, Spurs are going pretty all out for Thomas Frank in this transfer window. Watch pretty much all of Liverpool's game, and the left side saw more of the ball than the right. I think Gakpo's got 4 goals and 1 assist. 4 goals and 1 assist in pre-season. Salah's got 1 goal, 0 assists. I mean, like I say, there's at least a conversation to be had. Absolutely, I think. Right. So, what I'm going to do now, so that we're going to timestamp that as my Salah draft. Do you know what? I'm going to make a note of this. We're going to timestamp that as my Salah draft. And then we're going to timestamp that as, well, we might potentially want to go without Salah. So we'll say 14 mins Salah draft without Salah. Okay, what we're now going to do is build a few different drafts. So I largely think that you can separate the no Salah drafts. I'm going to say into, is it 3 camps or 4 camps? It's probably 3 camps. I think you go for a Haaland draft instead. Is the first option. So if you don't want Salah, you go with Haaland instead. So we'll build that draft first. The next option is that rather than going for a Haaland draft, you go for a neither draft. So neither Salah nor Haaland. But then I think you've got 2 ways of doing that. The first way is you go without Salah and Haaland, but you have still most of your money concentrated in the starting 11. So you drop Haaland, drop Salah, but you still have a relatively weak bench, and it's just to get such an unbelievable 11. Or the third option is that you go for a no Haaland, no Salah draft, but you spread the funds and bench boost in 1 or 2. So you essentially build just such a good 15 that you can get away with bench boosting in one of the opening weeks. Please tell me this isn't a deadline stream. No, it's not a deadline stream. This is a Game Week 1 stream. The deadline stream will be on Friday, a few hours before the Game Week 1 deadline. Gakpo is super underrated. I absolutely agree. If I went without Salah, I would definitely have probably Wirtz and Gakpo. Believe it. I think Wirtz and Gakpo will be really nice value this season, and I think they'll be relatively nailed. Like, who's taking serious minutes off of Wirtz and Gakpo at the moment? Obviously, if Liverpool sign Isak, it might be that Ekatiké's pushed out to the left, but I'm not overly convinced. FPL Pickle in the chat says King, big love. She's actually in the living room, which is very sweet. Sorry if I've missed too much. How to buy Sarge says, have to miss another stream, just got married. Congratulations. That's absolutely adorable. Love to see it. Right. So let's build this. Let's build the Haaland draft first. So obviously what you would do is you would take out probably where the Fulkrug is. And rather than Fulkrug, you would go for Haaland. You would then obviously take out Salah. And let's say we just put Gakpo in for now. I think what I would... So you need 1 million then, if you want to go for something similar-ish. So you probably can't afford Gakpo and Wirtz. So I guess you either drop Bruno out of this team, or you drop one of Wirtz or Gakpo. Liverpool fans, if you're in the chat right now, where do you stand on Wirtz versus Gakpo? Wirtz versus Gakpo. Is Wirtz worth the extra million? Maybe it is just dropping... Yeah, maybe you do go for Ismaila Sarr. I don't mind that instead of Gakpo. Get rid of Wirtz and upgrade the bench. I feel like if you're going without Salah, you probably want Florian Wirtz. So I think you probably... Or do you go all the way down and just build a little bit of a stronger team? Maybe you go a little bit more on Man City. How much would I... That would give me 5.5. Wirtz is worth the 1 million more. That's kind of the feeling that I have right now. You could potentially... How much would you need here, though? You'd need to find 0.5 mil, wouldn't you? Wirtz will get a lot of pre-assists. I don't necessarily doubt that. Or... right, one sec. Maybe... Right, Giyu in here. By the way, I'm just doing live tinkering. Some people will really not like this. Some people prefer a structured video. I sometimes just like live tinkering and just showing you what my brain is doing in FPL. Some people, like I say, will like it. Some people won't. So... Then let's say we actually go Rodgers in here to cover, not to cover Watkins. And obviously we need to see Rodgers' fitness. We don't yet know. Can I get Ekatike in here? How much am I going to struggle to fund this? Oh. Ooh, I like that. What do we make of that? Now, the thing is, as soon as Isak joins, Ekatike is a risk. But, like, Isak's not played many minutes. Might Isak take a little bit of time to get up to scratch? And who's to say Ekatike won't still get good minutes? Live streaming the breakdown makes me not feel alone. Exactly. So it would be Salah to Rodgers, Watkins to Ekatike, Fulkrug to Haaland. I kind of prefer the Salah side. That's the issue that I kind of have with the Haaland drafts, is that I don't always necessarily feel like I'm getting a massive upgrade by going for Haaland. Chat, what do you think? If you go without Salah, is it to go with Haaland instead? So I guess let's talk about why you would want to have Haaland then. Game week 1, for me, is a really difficult week for captaincy. Because I look at game week 1, and I'm like, if I'm not captaining Salah, you could go for Wirtz or Ekatike, but it feels dodgy captaining a Liverpool player other than Salah. It's like, if you think Liverpool do well, then you think Salah does well. And then you've got, obviously, Erling Haaland in there against Wolves away. He just provides a really nice captain alternative, because I don't really feel comfortable captaining Palmer either. Run a poll. Yeah, good point. I'll run a poll. Let me close the other poll. Okay, I'll run a poll right now. Start a poll. Where do you stand on Salah, Haaland, neither or both? Salah, Haaland, neither, both. Right, I'm running a poll right now for Salah, Haaland, neither or both. Where do you stand right now on Salah, Haaland, neither, both? Yeah, you could captain Wirtz, but again, like I just think Salah is better than Wirtz. And again, if I expect Liverpool to score lots of goals, then what I'm essentially saying I think Salah will do really well. So then why would I go with that? I hope you can kind of understand the logic there. It's probably not the correct way to think, but it's kind of the way that I'm viewing it. Is there another way to do this? I mean, probably the correct way is to go without one of Bruno or Wirtz. So maybe it is to go without Bruno. So let's build a non-Bruno draft without Salah as well. just to see what we can kind of achieve. So I'd probably want something like that. So then how much does that give me in the bank? 1.5 million. So maybe you could upgrade your bench then at that stage. Or your defense, maybe. Maybe it is your defense. Maybe you go for like Frimpong. Here. And then what does that give me? That gives me an extra 0.5. Well, at that stage, I probably do just go for Williams back in, actually, don't I? Anderson to Frimpong, Salah to Saar, Fernandes to Gakpo, Fulkrug to Haaland. That's probably a little bit closer, actually, isn't it, in terms of which side is better? Haaland, Gakpo, Saar, Frimpong. So I guess a Haaland draft could look something like this. Oh, that's a benching headache. I'd probably bench Anderson, actually, wouldn't I? Something like that. Don't know if that looks... I wouldn't captain Saar, obviously. Let me change the captaincy. Something like that. Has the De Kuiper hype died? I think he's a slight rotation risk with Kadioglu, but I still think he's great, by the way. I'd still be perfectly happy to pick him. This team name should be transfers waiting to happen. We're just tinkering. Don't you worry. We're just tinkering. So much worse than the initial draft. Okay, so this is my issue. So, if I think that is... If I think that is worse, which I do, every time I build a Haaland draft, I think the Haaland draft just looks weaker than the Salah draft. My option then, if I want to go without Salah, is to just drop both of them. So then we start to look at what kind of draft can you build if you go without both Salah and Haaland. And like I said, I think you've got two options at that stage. You still go for a super strong 11, which I'll show you first, or the second is you build 15 good players and bench boost early. So... we could even put Jared Bowen in to start. Could you rate this Haaland draft? Okay, someone else has sent in a Haaland draft via a super chat. Sells, Tarkovsky, Juve, Murillo, Gakpo, Palmer, Wirtz, Reinders, Watkins, João Pedro, Haaland. Yep, that's very nice. It's probably slightly better than my... It's probably slightly better than my my Haaland draft. But again, it just feels a little light in midfield with no Bruno. But I guess, again, probably one of the players has to make weight, right? You can't have everyone. Captaincy is too important for me to go without both, in my opinion. So this is the concern we'll come across, is like, who do you captain week on week? So do you know what? Let's keep Guiu in here, because this is going to be the strong 11. Let's then put Bruno in here. Fernandes. How much do we have now? 3.5 million. I mean, the amount of money that it gives you to just play around with is crazy. Can I get... I wonder if it's possible. It's probably not. Can I get Saka in here and Gakpo? How much do I need? I've got 1 million to spare. Let me get João Pedro in here. This is going to be possible, and it's going to look unreal. 6 attacking players shall win, I hope. What are your thoughts on Reinders? I really like Reinders. I really, really like Reinders. In a lot of drafts, if I need this 5.5 mid every week, you just never know with Pep. And we've not seen a lot of Man City in pre-season. If we have a look, because we've not watched much of them at all, Man City. They had the Club World Cup, then they had a massive, massive break. And then that was that. Right, we've not really... Where are their fixtures? Here we go. So we've just not. They had their Club World Cup games, then they had a recent pre-season friendly, and then we've got that. One friendly. That's it. And now in that friendly, Reinders... So what I find... Reinders didn't start that game, by the way. Reinders came on at half-time. I don't know if you know that, but he came on at half-time. 2 goals, 4 total shots. He only had 20 passes in there. He missed a big chance as well. 7 touches in the box. What was interesting, though, is that Reinders come on in the number 10 role. He's not going to play the number 10 role on a consistent basis, especially with Rodri out until Rodri's out until the first international break. You've got Shirky, you've got if Foden's fit, he's there. You've got Marmoush. I just think you've got enough players here that Reinders probably doesn't play the 10. So he's not going to get that many goals and that many touches in the box. But I did find that interesting. But yeah, the issue with City is we've just not seen much of them. Again, if you do want to get access to all of the pre-season stuff and you want to check this stuff for yourself, I really do recommend checking out FootMob. There'll be a link down below. As I said, you even got the app, which is perfectly viable to use. And then, again, search through, look at all the pre-season stuff. It's just been so useful for me during pre-season. Right, where was I? Where's the FPL site? Anyway, back to what we were doing. Let's take a look at this stronger 11. Mateta. Yeah, I kind of want Mateta actually, don't I? Should I put Mateta in instead of João Pedro? Why not? Let's put Mateta in. Penalty taker, absolutely elite. That's the exact funds. Okay, let's confirm this team and then read it out and show us what it looks like. So Saka would obviously come into the starting 11. Oh my God. I mean, that bench is stacked, isn't it? You might not go with Juve in that case, and then you might want to go for a different defender. But what that team would look like then. So this is a no Salah, no Haaland, but not with a strong squad, just getting all of that money pumped into the 11. So let's just go for, I don't know, Florian Wirtz captain. So in goal, we'd have Sanchez again. The back line would be Pedro Porro, Nico Williams, and Tarkowski. So really strong back three. You've then got Saka, Palmer, Fernandes, Gakpo, Wirtz. Your cheapest midfielder is Cody Gakpo. You've got Saka, Palmer, Fernandes, and Wirtz in there. Then your front two is Watkins and Mateta. That is an unbelievable draft. Like, unbelievable. There's not a single weak spot in that team. Your cheapest player is Nico Williams. Then you've got a couple of 5-5 defenders. Your cheapest attacker is 7.5 million that starts. It's so difficult to look at this and not be tempted and not want to go without Salah. Because even if Salah does really well, you would hope that the fact that you've been able to get Saka, Bruno, Gakpo, Wirtz, Watkins, Mateta, and Palmer, not many other people are going to get all of those. So even if Salah does do well, you would hope that the players that you've been able to afford as a result would do well too. What do we make of this draft? If you're watching in the live chat or if you're watching back as a video, give it a rating out of 10, the no Salah, no Haaland draft with a really strong 11. I've just got a few super chats to refer to. Respond to, not to refer to. Scott West, by the way, thank you for coming a Rap Tier 2 member. Ross Fraser, thank you for being a member for 5 months. Kambala says, hey, received the Arsenal away and third kits today and got into uni to study criminology. Sorry, mate, I've only just seen that. That is awesome. I know a few people that did criminology and apparently it's an incredibly interesting course. So very, very big congratulations to you. Andre says, could you... I did that one. Shaunak, hi Ross. Sanchez, Porro, Tarkowski, Juve. Love the back line. It's very similar to the defence you can see here. Palmer, Salah, Bruno, Wirtz, Reinders, and then a front three of Pedro... or front two of Pedro and Thiago. That means on your bench is Lacroix, Agbadou, Guiu. I like Agbadou, by the way. Really decent shout. I'd give that like a 9 out of 10, Shaunak. It's a really nice team. I can't see any major concerns with that. Maybe just keep an eye on Thiago, because apparently Brentford are looking at signing some pretty good forwards, and I would just worry about how much that might affect his minutes. Aiden has become a Rap Tier 2 member. Thank you very much, Aiden. Sumac says, was tinkering and landed on Wirtz, Bruno, Palmer, Salah, Saka, Gakpo, Watkins, Gyökeres as the front seven, and now I'm tempted. Wirtz, Bruno, Palmer, Saka. So it's exactly the same as mine, but you've got Gakpo instead of Mateta. You must have a very weak defence, Sumac. But this is the thing. Does it matter? If your 7 attackers are that good, do you need Salah? Do you need a strong defence? I don't know. There are multiple ways to play this game. Izzy says, good morning, sweet scallop. My team, Sanchez, Murillo, Tarkowski. A great back line. Fernandes, Wirtz, Sarr, 5-5-5-5, and then Haaland, Gyökeres, Watkins. Yeah, again, as far as Haaland drafts go, I like it. Don't love starting 2 5.5 mids every single week, but in my current draft, I'm essentially doing the same thing. What are people rating my draft out of 10 then? People like it. 9s, 8s, 8, 7, 8, 9, 9.7, 10s. People, I tell you what, I would not be surprised if Salah's ownership is lower than you think. Like at the moment, and obviously, I will just say that it's going to be lower because the whole point of this live stream is to talk about going without Salah. So it will interest a lot of people. But 43% of people in the chat have Salah. 27% Haaland, 26% neither, and 5% both. Less than half the people watching this live right now actually have Salah in their team. So this is going to gain momentum the closer we get to the deadline. And people are going to want to squeeze in these excellent assets as well. People keep thinking Hugo or Wirtz are Salah's biggest downfall, but missing the fact Frimpong completely occupies the spaces Salah does his best work in. You make a great point. A lot of people say Salah's wide, therefore I don't want him. Salah is better when he's wide. If you ever watch the games where Salah plays more as an inside forward, he doesn't look lost because he's one of the best players in world football, but he certainly doesn't look as comfortable and natural as he does when he starts out wide and he drifts in, and he can't really play that wide role now with Frimpong doing what he does. It will take some adapting. Like Bradley and Trent play in a very, very different way to Frimpong. Nicola says, this is the best Haaland draft. Haaland, Wood, Watkins, Palmer, Kudus, Ruta. I love Jorginho Ruta. Great shout. Marmouche, Reinders, Nico Williams, Porro, Juve, Dorgu, Steve, and Sells. Yeah. Do you know what? I won't know. I won't say it's definitely the best, but that's really nice. I don't know how I feel about Marmoush, Reinders, and Haaland. Like, lots of people have no City, and you're just sat there with 3. It could work out really well. Dan G says, my neither draft is Sanchez, Darlow, Van Dijk, Van der Ven, Milenkovic, Esteve, Dorgu, Palmer, Saka, Verts, Gakpo, Reinders, Sesko, Pedro, and Watkins. I wouldn't have Sesko. I don't think Sesko will start game week 1. And if he does, he'll get 60 mins. So as much as I love the idea of having Sesko, I'd prefer Mateta. If you're going for a set. I think it definitely, for me, my favourite 2 7.5 forwards are almost definitely Mateta and João Pedro. Jacob says, by the way, Dan, I really like that draft. Really nice draft, Dan. Gakpo or Rodgers in a no Salah draft with Verts and Ollie? I'd go Gakpo. If you can afford Gakpo, I'd go Gakpo. FPL Victoria says, I haven't seen Arsenal players in drafts because of fixtures, but it's only game week 3 and 5, really. Best defence, great attack. What am I missing? The defenders are all 6 million that you'd want. Right, you probably want Gabriel. 6 million is a lot when you can go for a Frimpong or a Van Dijk instead. In terms of the attack, again, if I can spend 9 million, I'd rather Watkins to Gyökeres. And if I can get up to 10, I think I slightly prefer Cole Palmer. And I don't think there are any attackers outside of that. I've seen some people pick like Declan Rice, but that just doesn't interest me massively. It's just the price. They're all so expensive, the Arsenal players that you'd want. Ross says, my neither draft is Sells, Dubravka, Kukureya, Porro, Milenkovic, Tarkovsky, Dorgu. Okay, love the backline. Kukureya, Porro, 2 players that go massively under the radar. I know Porro's ownership isn't actually that low. It's 13%, but I'm not seeing him in too many drafts. Kukureya is really, really, really good as well. Bruno Verts, Gakpo, Saka, Cunha, Bowen, Ekatike, Krupi. Free hit 4. Thoughts on alternatives? Cunha and Ekatike. Oh, you want alternatives to Cunha and Ekatike? Okay, biased United fan too. I do think if you're going for a Man United asset that isn't Fernandes or Dorgu, my third favourite Man United player is Cunha. I think Cunha is a better pick than Mbeumo at the moment. So yeah, I like Cunha. I'm not going to try and put you off Cunha. Would I have Cunha? Maybe not. Maybe not. But at that price, I don't mind him. So yeah, I'm not going to put you off that. Ekatike, at 8.5, there are any alternatives. I mean, if you could stretch 0.5 million to go up to Watkins, I prefer that. I almost wonder is something like Milenkovic to Williams and Ekatike to Ollie Watkins. Does that make your team stronger? I think it probably does. And at the moment, you've already got double Liverpool with Verts and Gakpo. Sam Andrews says Kukureya, Konsa, Nico Williams. Sorry, I lost where it was. Konsa, Nico Williams, Rodgers, Njai, Kudus, Cole Palmer, Haaland, João Pedro, Watkins. Brilliant team. Arias on the bench is that bench. I love Richards, love Arias, Sam. So that I really like that. 0.5 in the bank as well. Bench boost 2, free hit 4, wildcard 13. Any changes? Not really. I mean, keep an eye on Rodgers' fitness. Firstly, secondly, keep an eye on if Spurs sign more players. If Spurs go out there and genuinely are looking at Eze and Savinho, it might be enough to put me off Kudus. Other than that, it's really strong. I'm not going to say too much that will put you off that. Is that left bottom one not rotating? I don't think it is it? There we go. I think I fixed that. Is the left middle one rotating? I don't even think I set up my stream properly. Has that been rotating top right as well? These are the kinks I have to get out of the way. I don't think it has been. Right, there we go. Everything should be rotating on the screen now. I don't know if have you been seeing my predictions and captaincy ranking? I think I had it so it wasn't rotating properly. It's a shame. Right, where was I? Harry. Oh, hello there. Oh, hello, Mr. Harry. Good to see you in the chat. Right, where was I? So, this is a draft then that you can build with no Salah, no Haaland, and concentrating all the money in the starting 11. It is absolutely unbelievable. Like, you're not having to sacrifice really at all, other than maybe a 6 million defender, but you could always downgrade one of Gakpo or Mateta and upgrade the defense if you felt that you wanted to. Okay? Harry says, you seem to not have Salah. Could go without. Could do. Just saying. Just saying. So the other option you've got then is if you want to still go with this draft, but you think, how have you taken out Salah and Haaland, but you've still got a weak bench and you've still got a weak defense? So the idea then would be actually to go for a much more well-rounded squad. So I think what you would have to do if you wanted to take out Salah and Haaland but go for a more well-rounded squad is you'd probably downgrade these two positions here to like let's say something like Ismail Assar and Elliot Anderson. And then that would give you enough money to upgrade Guiu to someone like Evan Ilson. Let's just say, actually, you want to go João Pedro because you don't want to go double Palace attack, which would be absolutely fair enough. You go João Pedro in there. You've then got 2 million to upgrade the defense. So here you could do Nico Williams up to Milenkovic. And then potentially you could do a Steve up to, who's another, like Munoz even. People are going to say they don't want that many Palace, so we could even go like Njai in here. So you could do something like this instead, where it's a much, much stronger team overall, but you obviously have a weaker, much stronger squad, but you have a weaker 11 as such. So it would look something like this. So your bench would be looking a lot more stacked every week. So really, you could play the bench boost in any given week. This might look slightly better for a bench boost too, but you could play it in any given week because you've got 15 strong players. This just feels much weaker. It's a weaker 11, but then you look at the bench and you've just got more options moving forward. Like game week 1, absolutely. This looks weaker in game week 1. You've lost Bruno and Gakpo, and you've not gained too much. I obviously wouldn't captain João Pedro, by the way. Do you think it's bad having money in the bank at the expense of a slightly better asset? Yes. The only way I would have money in the bank is if you truly think that 0.5 wouldn't drastically upgrade your team. If you think that 0.5 would upgrade your team more, then I don't see why you wouldn't spend it. Because yeah, it might help you in the future, but you want points. Points is more important than flexibility. So pick the players and the team that you think will get the most points. If you can build, again, a good 15 and you've got 0.5 in the bank, absolutely keep it. Do not spend it for the sake of it. I don't get the Elliot Anderson hype. Great fixtures, like sensational fixtures, DEFCON monster. I think he got 6 assists, 2 goals last season, 8 attacking returns, and he didn't even start or get perfect minutes in the first sort of 10 games or so. If he gets close to 38 starts, gets better minutes, carries on at that DEFCON rate, he might even be on more set pieces in the absence of Elanga. Elliot Anderson is a great asset. I don't think he's a game breaker. I don't think there aren't alternatives. Like you could go for Reinders. In fact, in this draft, given how strong your squad is, I probably would go for Reinders because you can get away with, if his minutes aren't as good as you thought, you can get away with that. So it might look a little bit better to you having that extra City asset in there. So yeah, this draft is essentially getting at, I drop both, but I give myself a strong enough team to bench boost. And like what you could do potentially is you could even bench boost this one. So let's build. Again, hopefully you guys don't mind me building, like doing this live tinkering. Again, for some people, they'll prefer more structure. But I think these streams, I think, can be incredibly useful. If you have enjoyed the stream so far, or if you're enjoying it, watching it back, whatever it is, can I ask you to do 2 things? Firstly, please do consider subscribing. I really do appreciate it. And also, this stream has been sponsored by FootMob. So if you want to check out FootMob, it's a completely free to play. It's a completely free mobile app for it's a football companion app, I'd call it. So if you want sort of up-to-date fixtures, lineups, whatever it is, there'll be a link pinned and there'll also be a link in the chat as well. I'd really appreciate you doing both those things. So let's build a bench boost 1 team. I would go maybe Verbruggen. He's got a home fixture at least. You'd probably want to take out Munoz and you'd probably want to chuck in. Probably Van der Ven. You might even... double Spurs defence, though. Who's a good 4.5 defender for Game Week 1? A Game Week 1 bench boost 4.5 defender. We might end up having a bit more money, actually, because I reckon I would chuck Fulkrug in here if I was bench boosting 1. Then I would probably... You could keep Reinders, in all fairness. Anderson. Juve. I've got Juve. Juve's in there. De Kuiper. Yeah, but then I've got Verbruggen. Do I want double... Yeah, but then... So who do I go for instead of Dubravka? Unless I do just go for a double up on a defence. You could even go for a double 5 million. I'm not necessarily advocating it, but, I mean, you'll have the money. I've got 1.5 million here still in my team. It's crazy. It's madness. So you could get Njai up to Gakpo. You could get Reinders up to... Ruta. He's Jorginho in the game, isn't he? Jorginho. Oh, that's a nice team. Let me make that. This is a bench boost 1 team. Right? It'll be like that, your bench. Probably... something like that. Would it be so yeah, something like that. So you'd probably captain like that. What do we think of that as a bench boost 1 team? I mean, that's a great team. If you want to have a hot start to the season, you got 15 excellent players there. What's your opinion on Josh King? Yeah, Josh King really does interest me, actually. We'll have a look at Josh King in a second. Wildcard 2 written all over it, inefficient. Yeah, you could wildcard 2, though. That's not an issue. Bench boost 1, wildcard 2. If you want to start the season strong and you're not too afraid to just go early, every strategy is viable this season. I would never put someone off a bench boost 1, wildcard 2. Why not Minter? I just think Jorginho's minutes are a little bit more secure. There's also a small chance he takes a pen, I think, if Welbeck's not on the pitch. But yeah, he's just been really good in pre-season. He's actually been playing as the number 9 in pre-season. Let's take a look at this. Honestly, it's just such a state, the FPL app, that you have to to get the FPL site on my screen, I have to keep mixing it and matching it and changing the windows. I can't believe how bad the FPL site is. A site that's not bad is FootMob. Let's look at Jorginho Ruter's pre-season, because he's been playing as the number 9. So what Brighton have been doing really weirdly is they've been playing like an A, B, and a B team, right? An A team will play the first game, and then the B team will play. So they've essentially split their teams in 2, and every time they've had a friendly, they've played with 2 teams. Welbeck's been playing in the B team. So in their most recent game, Ruter and De Kalper, actually, they both scored. But I thought that was really weird. Why is Ruter playing as the 9 if Welbeck is the first choice 9? He was asked about this, Hertzler, though. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see that. He was asked about that, and he said that they can both play together. They can one play and the other not one. But he said that Ruter can play as the 10 or off on the right. I really rate Ruter. I think he could have a really, really strong season, and I kind of do want him in the team. He's a player that I would love to get in as well. Look how cool these graphics are. I'm such a nerd. I get so excited about stuff like this. You can see if you're wondering what these are, it's like their percentile rank. So if it's green, it means they are high for that sort of position in terms of that statistic. The other player that someone asked me about in pre-season was actually Josh King, £4.5 million midfielder. So let's look at their pre-season games. So against Nottingham Forest, if we scroll down to the lineups are here. Okay. Did he play? Why is it doing it like that? Okay, there we go. He did again. So he got 46 minutes in their most recent game. Before that, how many games has Josh King been starting? Because I've not been tracking Fulham too closely. I mean, he scored, didn't he, against Al Etihad? I love that FootMob have added walking data. How cool is that, by the way? Yeah, on FootMob now, you can see how much someone's walked, how much they've run. Distance covered you'd never be able to find distance covered. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think FootMob are the only publicly available app now that have data around how much distance players and teams have covered, which is cool. Right, what was I doing? Fulham. Fixtures. So in this game here, did he start? Yeah, he started. So he's not getting too much time, but they're splitting the teams into 2 again. I do think Josh King might be my favourite 4.5 million midfielder. So I think if you're looking for a 4.5 million midfielder, Josh King is probably the one. I think. Just. Again, if you want to check all that out for yourself, if you want to do more in-depth stuff for pre-season and work it all out, feel free to check out FootMob. There'll be a link at the top of the description. He won't start. Potentially. I mean, I would probably try and find the extra 0.5 and go for Dewsbury Hall. So we're looking at 5 million midfielders. Dewsbury Hall, Frosty will be big on Papa Sarr. So Dewsbury Hall, Papa Sarr, maybe Granit Xhaka. What about Ayari? I think Ayari has 5 attacking returns in pre-season. So I don't mind the Ayari shout. Yeah, I really don't mind the Ayari shout. I don't know. I really don't know what to think. Back on the topic of conversation, I really don't know what to think about no Salah versus Salah. I think the thing I keep coming back to is it's easier to start with him and then downgrade. Let's say you start with Salah and he's not very good. It's so easy to sell Salah in terms of funds. Psychologically, it's not easy to sell Salah because you'll keep saying, but it's Salah. But funds-wise, sell Salah, you've got all of the money in the world. Even if you sell Salah to Saka in game week 2 because he stinks it up against Bournemouth, you then get a great captain in 2 and you've got loads of money. However, if you do something like this, how do you get back to Salah? It's just so difficult. So it's why I keep coming back to the idea of just start with him, and then if I'm right, and I think there's a chance you can go without him, then I can of course change that. So we'll put together go back to a sort of a Salah draft here, and then discuss sort of the places in the team where I could see myself potentially changing before the deadline. And of course, like I said, make sure to subscribe because my team selection video will be live on Thursday. So, in here, we had Fulkrug, didn't we? Then I have to go Guiu, sadly, if I want all of the other players that I want. I do like Jorginho Ruta, you know. If there was a way that I could get Jorginho Ruta in, I would. But I just don't know if there is. Anderson in there. Let's put Salah back in. The big boy, 14.5 million Salah goes back in. And then when Gakpo is, it's Bruno. Is that the right team? Yeah. So this is what I keep coming back to then as a result. But like there is a real imbalance in this team. Like it's got a super weak bench. It's certainly not perfect. It certainly is not perfect. Let me add Sanchez up here. Right, let me leave that as it is for now. Captaincy back on Salah. Perfect. But it is strong. And I don't think it's lacking in too many departments there. Not too many departments. Shazam says, nothing to say or ask. Just wanted to contribute and say, welcome back, Ross and Pickle. Great to see you both. Thank you so much. You're so sweet, Shazam. What a legend. You make me have faith in the world with just being so kind. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. Right, let me get back to answering some of these super chats because I've missed quite a few. FPL Victorious, given their team, said, any thoughts or suggestions, please, Ross? No, I like the Adingra pick, especially given Sunderland's opening fixtures. I think Strand Larsen is slightly underrated. I like the defence. I mean, there's no massive concern for me at all there, mate. I genuinely can't pinpoint an issue with your team at all. How would you rate this? Sanchez, Juve, Murillo, Porro, Saka, Fernandes, Gakpo, Palmer, Watkins, Bowen, Mateta. How would I rate that? Like a 9 out of 10? There's nothing wrong with that team at all. I mean, you've got no Salah, you've got no Haaland, but the whole point of today was to show you that it's perfectly viable, I think, to go without both. So yeah, I'd give it like a 9 out of 10. FPL Victoria says, I can do Saka to Bruno and upgrade Strand Larsen to Mateta. Yeah, I'd probably prefer that, actually. Yeah, I'd probably prefer that, actually. I would, yeah. Josh says, Sanchez, Murillo, Tarkovsky, Frimpong, Vert, Palmer, Saka, Gakpo, Reinders, Pedro, Watkins. Yeah, it's probably you've probably got a balance between what I said. You know, I showed you the draft where you had a perfect starting 11 but no bench, and then you had a really strong bench. You've gone somewhere in the middle, Josh. So you've got a deep enough squad, like you've got Eva Nilsson sat there on the bench, but you've not gone overboard with it. I would say that is one of the better. Yeah, that's certainly one of the better no Salah, no Haaland drafts that I've seen. Dylan said, if there is no Rodgers news by Friday, is there any point keeping him? No, absolutely not. But I think we will get Rodgers news. I think we'll see him in training. If we see Morgan Rodgers in training, I would go with Morgan Rodgers. I see no reason to go without Morgan Rodgers. If you want him, I should say, if we see him in training. Because we know Emery run that man into the ground. Every time Rodgers had a knock, he still played 90 minutes. So unless something has changed in Emery's mind, if Rodgers is at all available, he's going to play. Sion says, I have 1 million in the bank. Is Sarr to Gakpo worth it? I really like Gakpo. I will say yes, it is. PSV says, my current 11 is Sells, Porro, Cucurella, Williams, Saka, Palmer, Bruno, Verts, Njai, Bowen, Watkins. What are your thoughts on Sells, Ndai and Bowen to Kelleher, Gakpo, and Mateta? No, I prefer Sells, Ndai, and Bowen. Yeah, I prefer the former option. Is double Liverpool midfield needed if no Salah? Absolutely not. I would have one. I would have one of Verts or Gakpo if you go no Salah. If I were to go no Salah, I think I would have Gakpo and Verts though. Jay Stoneley says, my bench boost Salahless draft with price points for Gyökeres and Sesko. Verbruggen, Frimpong, Van de Ven, Williams, Palmer, Johnson, Gakpo, and Jaya Haaland, Watkins, João Pedro. Bench of Dubravka, Steve, Tosin, and Anderson. I like the team a lot. You do have a couple of risks in there. I think Tosin is a slight risk. Maybe not in game week sort of 1 and 2, But moving forward, toss-in is a slight risk. We spoke about this with FPL Harry on FPL Therapy, which was released this morning. So yeah, I'm not entirely convinced by toss-in. And I think Brennan Johnson should start game week 1, but that's not a given. And they're looking to sign Savinho, and they're looking to sign Eze. So I think Brennan Johnson is a transfer waiting to happen. I would go without Brennan Johnson. But other than those 2 picks, I like it. Who would you captain game week 1 without Salah Haaland? Yeah, this is the issue. This is why I'm struggling. It would be probably Palmer or Wirtz. But I don't love either of those. What do you think about Paulinho? Could be good for a DEFCON, but I just think there are other 5 mids I prefer. I think Dewsbury Hall is the best 5 million mid. Hi Ross, Tarkovsky, Murillo, Sanchez, or Sells, Williams, Cucurella? Definitely Tarkovsky, Murillo, Sanchez. I think that's the stronger combo. How many 4 million mids are starting game week 1? A Steve or a Stev? Goodmanson, Rodon. I think Hoover of Wolves should start game week 1. I think if you're looking for a 4 million defender that you don't have to start in game week 2, I think Rodon is better than a Stev. The reason I've got a Stev in my team is come game week 2, I'm sadly going to need a Stev in my team. Because like Juve's got Chelsea, Porro's got City, Nico Williams has Palace away, Anderson's got United. None of my defence have good fixtures in game week 2, whereas a Stev's got Burnley. So I think as a result, I've gone for him. But I think if you don't need your defender in game week 2, I would pick Rodon or Goodmanson, probably Rodon, or even Bijol, who's not available for game week 1, I don't think. Am I right in saying that? I think he carried it. Did he carry over his suspension into this league? Oh, I hate the FPL site so much. It stinks. Bijol. Is it just game week 1? 23rd of August. Yeah. So he'll be back for game week 2. But you don't need him for game week 2. So I like Bijol. He's a very, very good shout. And I think he's the sort of player that will rack up potentially bonus, DEFCON, and he's got a bit of attacking threat. With Guiu, you can't bench boost in the first few weeks, right? No guarantees on his minutes. Yeah, I think if you need to bench boost in the first few weeks and you're committed to that, I don't think you can pick Guiu. I even wonder if Krupi Jr. is a better pick than Guiu. I'm not saying he'll definitely start Krupi Jr., but I think there's a good chance that he does start. And if he does, isn't Baleba the best 5 million mid? Not for me. I do think it's Dewsbury Hall. And I think if you're not going Dewsbury Hall, I think it might be worth a risk on Sarr. And if you don't want to risk it at all, then yes, you have Xhaka and Baleba. I think I would risk it with Dewsbury Hall if I was going to go 5 mil. Ruter or Fulkrug at 6 million? It depends on the structure of the rest of your squad, right? Because it's not just a straight shootout. One's a midfielder, one's a forward. In isolation, I think Ruter across the season might be a little better. I like that opening fixture for Fulkrug, and he needs to score goals to stay in the team, or at least to force them not to sign a proper number 9 in the market. He's got a point to prove, let's just say that. So I kind of like Fulkrug to start, but Ruter, I think, is going heavily under the radar. In fact, there'll be a short form video that I release tomorrow. If you're not following me, by the way, on like Instagram, TikTok, feel free to do so. Loads of short form content. But yeah, I say that Ruter is one of my top 3 differentials for game week 1. I think a lot of people are overlooking him. Are Ruben Dias and Konate good options? Ruben Dias, no. Konate, not awful, as long as he can stay fit. Mugiwara says Sanchez, Aitnuri, Juve, De Calpa, Fernandez, Salah, Palmer, Kudus, João Pedro, Jokeres, Beto. Yeah, it's a nice team. Some slight differentials in there. I think Beto is a no-go because Barry started the last preseason game and the comments from Moyes were not positive around Beto. So I would say Beto's a no. Outside of that, it's nice. I think Ryan Aitnuri and Frimpong are probably going slightly under the radar amongst engaged managers. Like they are a risk, but they could be worth it. Hi, Ross. What are your thoughts on this? Sells, Juve, Van der Ven, De Calpa, Ndiaye, Palmer, Bruno, Wirtz, Marmouche, Pedro, Haaland. What would you change? Thanks, Ross. Keep smashing it. You're more than welcome. What would I change? I don't know that I would. If you want to go for a Haaland draft, I think it's great. Maybe I'd be slightly tempted to go Gakpo over Marmouche and just spread the money a little bit more, especially in that defence. That defence is a little bit weak. So yeah, maybe Marmouche down to Gakpo and then bring up one of those defenders to a 5.5. But I mean, we're nitpicking here at the moment. If you like Marmouche as a pick, I'd just keep Marmouche. What do you think of Martinelli? I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't go there. They're looking to sign Eze. If they don't sign Eze, they might look at another left winger. He's clearly not like fully favoured. That's a position that I think they're looking to upgrade. They might even be playing Madueke on the left with Saka on the right, for example. How does Richards compare to against other 4.5s? Yeah, I like Richards a lot. Um, right. Shall we do a few rating your drafts? Would people like to see that? What do you want to see? I'll stream for another like 20, 30 minutes. What do you want to see? I can rate some of your drafts. I can put out a tweet, get some of you to respond to it and rate it. Or we can carry on just doing live tinkering and I can carry on answering your questions. Let me know. Answer your questions. Do draft myself or rate your drafts. Let me know what you'd rather see whilst I take a swig of my drink. Okay, a few different opinions, but rating drafts seem to be the priority. Right. What I'll do then is I'll put out a tweet and you just need to reply with your team to the tweet. So I'm rating your drafts live on stream. Drop your draft below and join to get it rated. Boom. And I'll post the link as well. Sorry, guys, just putting out a tweet very quickly, and then you can just reply to the tweet. Boom. Boom. I will not be doing it in any order in particular. I'll just be doing whatever comes first. So feel free to just reply to that tweet. So I'm linking it in the chat, or just head over to my X. And yeah, send your teams in there. Can we send it in the live stream chat? If you send it as a super chat, I'll answer it. Otherwise, I'm probably just going to be looking at Twitter. Because it's going to be a bit difficult to do everything. Right, Twitter. Boom. Profile. Boom. I'll pin that. There we go. Oh, goodness. There's 128 people have replied already. I'm never getting that many done. Mr. FPL Izzo. Right, I know, Eric. So I'll happily do this. Right. Sells, Kukurea, Milenkovic, Van der Ven. Beautiful defense. Salah, Palmer, Saka, Reinders, Dewsbury Hall. A little bit weak having a 5-5 and a 5, but I respect it. Watkins, Wood. Do you know what? I love this. It's something I've not seen barely at all. Is a Salah, Palmer, Saka draft with no Wirtz, no Bruno. It seems like everyone is aiming to have Wirtz and Bruno rather than Saka. I missed a big super chat from Tafen. Oh no, did I? Oh yeah, I did. Dear Lord, I'm sorry. Completely missed that. Big love, my man. Tafen's an absolute legend. That midfield is packed. I think it's justified if Fulkrug ticks along. Cracking team, sir. Thank you very, very much. What an absolute legend. By the way, Tafen sent me his team previously as well, and it was looking very, very solid too. So thank you very much, man. I appreciate the support, by the way. Very, very kind of you. Ollie Andre says, is there anything you think you can improve about my team? Verbruggen, Kelleher, Van der Ven, Williams, Anderson, Richards, Reinildo, Wirtz, Salah, Palmer, and Jai, Wilson, João Pedro, Welbeck, Watkins. I love that team. I'm not overly keen right now personally on Welbeck. I think I prefer Fulkrug, Thiago, or Strand Larsen, or even Ilson if you can find 0.5. That is the only thing, Ollie, though, that I would change. Daniel says, bench boost game week 1, sells Bizo, Kukurea, Porro, Juve, Dekau, Tarkowski, Gakpo, Dewsbury Hall, Bruno, Palmer, Wirtz, Watkins, Gyökeres. What are your thoughts? Yeah, do you know what? That's a very nice bench boost one. I actually really, really like that team, Daniel. I'm not going to suggest too much to change it. I'm not going to say... No, I have really, 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 really strong team. Lewis's thoughts. Sanchez, Dubravka, is that Gehi? Dorgu, Van der Ven, Konsa, Juve, Palmer, Wirtz, Saka, Bruno, Reinders, Gyökeres, Ekitike. Is it too spread out? Yeah, I think that's slightly too spread out. I don't think you're like massively off, but I would just say probably you don't need all of those defenders. You could probably drop one of them to a 4, and you might be able to drop one of your other attackers down a little bit. I don't think you're too far off, Lewis, but yeah, it does probably feel a little bit too spread out. Simicas and Kostulas down the line for Brighton. Or Simas. I don't know much about Simas, if that's how it's pronounced, but Kostulas looks really interesting. Kostulas looks like the real deal. So I think he's only 18 or 19, isn't he? Brentford are looking for another striker, apparently. I did see that, yeah. I did see that. Right, anyway, let me get back to rating that. So I love that draft. The only thing I would criticise, I don't love Chris Wood. I think one goal, they've scored one goal in 7 games in pre-season. It's pretty shocking. Too much FPL. Sanchez, Murillo, Williams, Tarkovsky. I don't mind the double Forest defence, makes sense. Gakpo, Wirtz, Palmer, Fernandes, Ekatike, Watkins, João Pedro. Again, as far as a no Salah, no Haaland draft goes, that's beautiful. Like, 2 very strong drafts to start. I want to try and roast someone. Give me a draft that I can roast. Can I roast that? No, there's another strong draft. But again, it's another draft without Salah. We are starting to see a serious trend towards no Salah being, not the template, but becoming more and more popular. I can't criticise anything there. I really do like Marmoush. I said on FPL Therapy, if Marmoush had similar minutes to Wirtz, I would pick Marmoush ahead of Wirtz. The reason I'm going for Wirtz a lot of the time is because I think Wirtz is a little bit safer for minutes than Marmoush is. But Marmoush, when he came to City, he's just played pretty much every game. So what do we got here? It's another no Salah team. It's very similar to the previous team, actually. Nice, strong midfield. It's very similar to the team that I showed where I said, if you want to go without both, basically. We've got just loads. Talked me out of it. It's a great team, but we're seeing a very similar sort of trend. I don't know if it's just people watching my stream. Look, there's another no Salah team. Again, it might just be because the whole point of the stream is to talk about going without Salah, but I'm not seeing many Salah drafts. Yes, I mean, it's a good team again from Josh. I really like that. Munoz is a nice pick. Right, Munoz is super underrated. Gakpo and Wirtz is nice. Great. That's a very, very good team, actually. As far as Haaland drafts go, I like that a lot. This is a bit of a wonky team. I'm going to have to turn my head. Konate's I don't know that. I think they're a better 5.5 defenders than Konate. I would rather Porro. I would rather Milenkovic. I would rather Murillo. I would rather Munoz. I would rather Tarkovsky. Konate for me is like the 7th or 8th. 7th or 8th, I would say. Check this one out. Very nice. Ahmad's a cheeky pick. I do just think with Ahmad, he's basically playing the same role as Dorgu, but he's a 6.5 mid. I think Ahmad will get a lot more attacking returns than Dorgu. Let me make that clear. But as much as that right wing back role is going to get forward a hell of a lot, I just don't know that Ahmad justifies a 6.5 price. I think you're one of the few YouTubers that isn't looking like you'll go for a template team, so a lot of us are flocking here. Okay. To be fair, my team at the moment isn't non-template per se, but it is a little bit different, I suppose. Oh, okay. Got an interesting team here. Jorginho Ruta. I love it. Love the Ruta. I've not seen a single Salah. Here we go. We've got a Salah team finally. And there's me at the top. I appreciate you watching. That's a very nice team. That's a very nice team. That's similar-ish in terms of structure to what I've been on previous to the past few days. That's a really nice balance. If you're looking for a balanced, structured Salah draft, that's a really, really nice one to base it off. You've got a good balanced defense, a really nice balanced midfield, good forward line. This is a nice team. Again, if you're looking for just to get inspired by a nice balance, that's the one I'd go for. Jamie, your team's not. Oh, that's sad. Can't even bring your draft up. Sorry. Odd Hurts. Okay, we've got a no Salah, no Haaland again. Really nice front line though. Watkins, Bow and Gyökeres. Not many people are going for that sort of front three. I like that a lot. Still a solid midfield and still a solid back line. I really, really like that. Can I email my team? You can, but I only rate drafts for members. If you want to become a member, absolutely, then you can email your team across. But there's links down below to join and become a member if you want to do that. That's a really nice team. I like that. Ooh. To be honest, every time I see Haaland and Marmoush, I'm always like, ooh, I like that. This is very interesting. So here we've got 3 4.5 defenders, so no expensive defenders. But then Haaland, João Pedro, Marmoush, Wirtz, Fernandes, Palmer, and Jai. Chat, what do we make of this draft? What do we make of this draft? I like that. It's different. It's for sure different. All right, let me answer a few super chats whilst we keep that on the screen. Harry says Sanchez, Tarkovsky, Milenkovic, Van der Ven, Saar, Bruno, Salah, Palmer, Reinders, Watkins, João Pedro, with Dubravka, Richards, Esteve, and Gui on the bench. Lovely team. Can I criticise anything of that team, Harry? No. No, it's really good. Really good team. I can't criticise anything. You've even got some really nice rotations there between Van der Ven and Richards. I mean, it doesn't look too dissimilar from FPL Harry's team, which is probably a good sign. So yeah, it's nice. Saka, Matoma, Haaland versus Salah, Verts, João Pedro. Salah, Verts, João Pedro for me. Sanchez, Porro, Williams, Juve, Marmouche, Anderson, Palmer, Salah, Verts, Strand, Larson, Watkins. What are your thoughts? Yeah, I like that, Lawrence. Can I criticise that for anything? No, it's really good. It's really good. I'm not just copping out by just saying it's really good, but like I'm also not going to criticise or roast you for the sake of it. It's a great team. It's not too far off mine. You've got a very similar defence. In fact, you've got the exact same defence that I've got at the moment. I like the Strand Larson picks. Good team. Wan-Bissaka versus Asnu for the first three. Juve is the answer, but Wan-Bissaka I would choose. Thoughts about these attackers? Palmer, Verts, Saka, Saar, Anderson, Gyökeres, Watkins, Evanilson. Flexible 2 transfer route to Haaland, Salah. Yeah, I like them a lot. Gyökeres, slight risk, but I think it's worth it. Ismail Assar is still, for me, top 2, 6.5 mids. Evanilson is incredibly underrated. I like it a lot. Game week 1, triple captain, Haaland. Wolves are Wolves. No. No. I do rate Vitor Pereira, so I wouldn't rule out the possibility of something like that. This is mine. Not too sure about Salah. Yes, again, it's as far as Haaland drafts go, it's really nice. Thiago, I would keep an eye on because Brentford are looking to sign a new number 9. And Kudus, just keep an eye because Spurs are trying to sign so many players. But yeah, I really like that team. By the way, if you are enjoying this stream, please, 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 can I ask you to consider subscribing? I really would appreciate it. We're having a push for 160,000 subscribers before the Game Week 1 deadline, and I can only do that with your help. So if you're not yet subscribed, please do consider doing so. Surely Gakpo and Verts cover Salah. So many things to discuss about that. Firstly, players can't cover players, right? Verts and Gakpo could not be involved and Salah could score a hat-trick. Salah is his own person. So I don't believe in covering a player. The second thing is, it's not Gakpo and Verts versus Salah. It's a group of players that you would have in a Salah draft versus a group of players you'd have in the Gakpo and Verts draft. Because you would have other players instead. It's not just 2 players versus 1. So in theory, I understand what you're saying. Surely you'll get some decent returns from Gakpo and Verts, yes, but I don't know that they'd ever cover Salah. Ekatike, Njai, Kelleher, Kukurea, or Bowen, Gakpo, Sanchez, Dorgu. The latter. I like the Bowen combo more. Just going to take a little swig of water. I like that I said water and then grabbed my Pepsi Max. Right. Refresh. What? Refresh the thing so that more people's drafts come up. New people draft. Okay. Sorry if you were just about to get your draft rated and I've just refreshed it. Got FPL Tom, fellow content creator. Okay, this is a good discussion. Here we go. Tom's giving us something to talk about. Water is Pepsi Max. Yeah, fair. We've got a 4-5-1 draft with Krupi and Giu as the 2 forwards. So 2 4.5 forwards. I would love to know what your opinion is on this in the chat. My good friend Baker from Above Average is on something very, very similar. In fact, this is almost Baker's 11. So the idea here is you get that really solid midfield 5. You still get Ollie Watkins. But you know, in my team at the moment, I'm putting Fulkrug in as my second forward. Rather than going for Fulkrug, you're just simply saying, I'm just going to go for those DEFCON monsters at the back. So you're essentially going just for 4 DEFCON monsters. Mario, Tarkovsky, Pedro Porro, and Anderson. So when you look at the team, then you've got Verts, Palmer, Fernandes, Salah, Watkins. You've got 3 essentially premium defenders. But then you've got a really weak bench and you've only got 1 forward. You should be rating from oldest to newest, Egg. I'm just refreshing it. I'll just keep refreshing it and I can keep scrolling. I'll try and do it at random. But I think this is worth thinking about. I don't mind this as a strategy. I wouldn't be surprised if this does really well. Bruno is a very overrated pick. He'll blank till Burnley. I think at the very least he'll pick up defensive contribution points against Arsenal, potentially. That team is not good. People don't like the team. Okay, fair. Right, I'm just gonna close my eyes and scroll for a bit because people are getting upset about the rate. This is completely random. They got open. Right, we're on this one. Sanchez, Van de Ven, Van Dijk, Murillo. Okay, good back line. I'm still not fully convinced. by Van Dijk. I think I'd go Frimpong personally right now. Enjoy Palmer, Salazar, Wirtz, Watkins, Strand Larsen. Super strong. Again, this is another one of these drafts where the balance is really, really nice. I really like the balance of it. So yeah, big fan. Big thumbs up. J United, Sells, Juve, Van der Ven, De Kuiper, Njaya, Palmer, Fernandez, Wirtz, Marmouche, João Pedro, Haaland. Again, really, really nice. What could I change about this? I don't know that I would. I mean, there's no picks in there that I dislike. I really do like the Marmouche shout. Marmouche is a player, like I would say probably if I'm listing players that I really want, but I can't get, like Ruta at 6 million I like. Marmouche at 8.5 I really like. Frimpong I'd love to get in at 6 million. Tafan's with another big boy super chat. Tafan, you're single-handedly supporting me here. A battle for the ages. Anderson versus Reinders. What sort of returns are we expecting from these 5.5 million mids? So for me, it comes down to like what sort of manager are you? Like Anderson versus Reinders. What are the projected? Let's actually have a look. I can do this. If I go over to projected points, I wonder what the projected points are on Fantasy Football Hub. What am I doing here? Toolbox, projected points. Let's look at the 5.5 mids. I honestly think if you need a midfielder to start every single week, I think you have to go for, let's go first 6 weeks. I think for me, you have to go for Anderson. Anderson will play every minute you'd think, or at least very good minutes. Got great fixtures. You can rely on him every week. If you go for Reinders, I think there's always that slight doubt. Interesting. So Fantasy Football have Tavernier. This is a player, by the way, that so many people keep saying, Ross, you are overlooking Tavernier, like massively. I keep getting told that. Maybe I am. Maybe Tavernier, if he gets the good enough minutes, and I guess you kind of expect him to get decent minutes. He could be a good shout. Wilson's pre-season form, by the way, has been unbelievable. Like, unbelievable. We were speaking about Josh King. We didn't even speak about Wilson. Wilson in pre-season, what has he had? Like 5 goals. Harry Wilson, here we go. Let's go. Where's my tab gone? If we go on his matches. So yeah, he got a goal and an assist against Belgium. No, am I looking at the right Harry? Yeah, okay, perfect. I am. I'm so confused here. He got the goal in the Al Ittihad game, where he's playing as like a right winger, correct? Let me double check that. Yeah, on the right wing here. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't continue to get really good minutes. So I really, really, really like Harry Wilson as a shout. Is there a real worry though? Potentially. How was his performance in the most recent preseason game? Doesn't have too much information on it. I don't see his minutes. Like, this is their full strength team, essentially, right? They've gone full strength here, and Wilson gets 90 minutes. How do we feel about Wilson? Let me know how we feel about Wilson overall. Where is that? I'm just going to use that instead. He's an Arias, Wilson, Reinders, and who I forgot. Arias, Reinders, Wilson, Anderson. There are lots of good 5.5 million midfielders. There really are. And it's difficult to, obviously, you probably only have one of them, maybe two. Maybe two. Right, where was I? I was back on Twitter rating drafts, wasn't I? I'm going to try and find different ones. So if I scroll past your draft, it means it's not bad. It just means I'm looking for some slightly different drafts to rate. We've got a non-Watkins draft here. I quite like this. So you've got Gabriel, Munoz, Williams, Sanchez, really strong back line, a really good midfield 5, and then João Pedro, Strand Larsen. It's one of the very few drafts that you're seeing right now that doesn't have Ollie Watkins in. So I quite like that. Like, at least something a bit different. Like, Watkins is not essential by any means. Anything different there? No, it looks pretty standard. I mean, I guess you've got Saka, Palmer, Salah again, but we've already discussed that. That's another Haaland draft. Semenyo, interesting pick there. I like Semenyo. Semenyo and Evan-Ilson as a pair are probably quite underrated. Either one of them could be on penalties in the absence of Kluivert, by the way, but I think it probably will be Evan-Ilson. But yeah, Semenyo is a super underrated asset. I don't mind that at all. 25 quid, someone really wants advice. That's not 25 British pounds, by the way. That's AED. The currency on the super chat is before it. So yeah, that's not £25. Enough with the woke DEFCON back lines. My back three is Frimpong, Cucurella, and Ait Nori. I like it. I get it. Not going to criticise that at all. Where was I? Kai says, Wood versus João Pedro for the first 3 game weeks. Definitely João Pedro for me. Bench boost 1. Sells, Dubravka, Tarkovsky, Williams, Porro, Juve, Rodon, Fernandez, Wirtz, Sarr, Reinders, Anderson, Watkins, Ekatike. Free hit 2. And then a wildcard triple captain early. That's a really nice team. That's a really nice team, Sam. Yeah, I'm not going to criticise that team too much at all. Is there anything I can criticise? No, I really like the Rodon pick if you're bench boosting 1. It's a decent shout for a Formula defender. Yeah, I can't criticise it. Hayden says, Dubravka, Sanchez, Richards, Milenkovic, Juve, Van der Ven, Van Dijk, Sarr, Palmer, Njai, Salah, Anderson, and then Guiu, Bowen, Watkins. Yeah, can't criticise that too much either. If I can, I'm still not convinced by Van Dijk as much as some people. Van der Ven and Richards rotate really nicely, so I'm not going to put you off there. Bowen and Watkins is a great forward front line. Yeah, I can't say too many bad things about that. Haney says, Sanchez, Murillo, Williams, Tarkovsky, Richards. Richards is super popular at the moment. I can understand it. Wirtz, Palmer, Saka, Salah, Dewsbury Hall, Watkins with a weak sub. What would you improve? What would I improve there? I mean, the only thing that I would have an issue with is if you've got Dewsbury Hall and a weak first sub, then it's... You need Dewsbury Hall to start every game, which I think he should do, but you just don't know that for a fact. So you could... Like, I would be tempted to do Saka down to Wirtz or Bruno and then just spread the funds a little bit, but then I'm just making your draft more like mine, which I don't necessarily want to try and do. You know? VJ says, hey Ross, please rate this team. Kelleher, Munoz, Nico Williams, Van der Ven, Saka, Palmer, Salah, Njai, Anderson, Watkins, João Pedro. Do you know what? Straight after I said I've not seen many people with Saka, Palmer, Salah, we're getting loads of people with Saka, Palmer, Salah. I love that. Yeah, I love that team, VJ. Really strong. It's making me think, do I consider going with Saka rather than a Bruno or a Wirtz? But it's just... Funds are so difficult right now, aren't they? Cool, we'll do another like 5 minutes of rating drafts. Eze in there. I'd be a bit careful about Eze just because there's rumours about him joining Spurs, joining Arsenal. If he does he play immediately? What's his role going to be for that team? So I think there are enough concerns to put me off. Sesko again. Like, I don't know that you need to risk it with Sesko and Eze. I think I would even prefer Sarr and Ekatike. Do Eze to Sarr, Sesko to Ekatike. That's a great draft then. Really nice team again. Do you know what? This is so similar to a draft that I had not that long ago. Really, really similar. I love that defense. Cucurella, Pedro Porro, Murillo looks great. Great midfield 5. And Watkins and Bowen. This is a really nice team. Really, really, really strong. Again, another team where if you're looking for some inspiration, I quite like the structure of this team here. The only thing is, obviously, you don't have a midfielder priced between 7 and 10. So like if Wirtz, Marmoush, Bruno, Cunha and Burmo, all of these players start looking really good, you're going to find it difficult to navigate to them. (4-5-1) here. This is interesting. Van der Ven, De Kuiper, Milenkovic, Wan-Bissaka, Reinders, Saka, Salah and Burmo and João Pedro. And then Watkins on the bench. Behave. Okay, so this is just a normal draft. It's because I saw the 4 at the back, but Watkins would obviously be in your starting 11. Okay. I see. Oh, hello. We're talking about slightly different drafts. This looks a little bit different. We've got De Kuiper, Konsa, Van der Ven, Palmer, Minte, Salah, Dewsbury Hall, Mateta, Haaland. I love that front line. Mateta, Haaland, Evan-Ilson looks great. Can people stop spamming refresh in the chat? I'm not going to refresh it. It's not coming through in order, by the way. It's coming through with everyone's. Stop saying refresh it, specs it. No. Just spamming refresh. Mateta, Haaland, even else is a great front line. Minte's a nice little pick. Dewsbury Hall, like I said, if he starts, I love Arias. I'm going to give this such a big thumbs up because it's different. It's Salah and Haaland and Palmer, and it's got some great other picks in there. Now, the concern is you've got no one priced between Minte and Palmer. So you've got literally no one 6.5, 7, 8, 8.5. No, like you've got no one in that price point. It's a very imbalanced draft, but it's also a very nice threemium. Like you've got some really nice picks in there. I'm a big fan. Can you do captaincy rankings for game week 1? There you go. It's on the screen. Over there, middle left. There's my captaincy ranking as things stand. Please do check out the graphics. So much time went into doing the graphics. So please do check them out as they're rotating around. And let me know if there's anything you want to see on the deadline streams. Obviously, this isn't a deadline stream. This is just a stream, but it'll be the same graphics. So if you want to see more stuff, yeah. Right, what I'm going to do then is we'll go back to here. And I just want to say, for one final time, before I keep doing your nuts in, that sounds dodge. Can you please... Hello? Oh. Hello? There we go. Can you please check out FootMob? If you want to support me a little bit, let's say you're already subscribed and you think, Ross, I already am a legend and I subscribe to you. Please check it out, right? I'm trying to use my phone to do it here. You can just do so much. You can see all the stuff I've been searching for as well already. I'm using this tons. I was looking at Jorginho Ruti yesterday, and he's a player that I'm really interested in. But if you want a completely free to use app to support me, but also to help you through the season, through the game weeks, get all that data, even if you already use it, still click the link. But yeah, give it a download. I really do appreciate it. You've got really good information here that I just promise will help you. Like I'm genuinely a big fan. And there's just so much cool stuff that you can look at on there. So, I mean, you could be lost there for hours. But yeah, big love to FootMob, and they've been absolutely great to work with so far. So please do consider supporting me and giving that a download. So if we then pivot back then to my team, as things stand, again, there'll be a team selection on Thursday where I'm sure it would have changed before then. This is where I'm sat right now. Do I sell Salah? If so, is it for Haaland? And if not, how much do I spread the funds around? These are the key things that I need to think about. Final thing I'll do then is just answer the few super chats that I've missed whilst that's on your screen. Would really appreciate if you rated my team. Okay. My name is FPL Flicks. Hello, FPL Flicks. Yeah, but I now have to search for you. Okay, I'll do it on this one occasion because you were kind enough to FPL Flicks because you were kind enough to super chat. I'll go on your replies. I assume you've replied to my thing. One of these. Okay. Love that. Love that. Very strong. Can't criticize that. It's a bit spicy. Yeah, so what's the difference? Minte and versus Njai. Is it just Minte versus Njai? It is, isn't it? Yeah, I would go for Njai. I'd pick this one. This one here. I like that one. Or, like I say, if not, go for Jorginho Ruta. A really decent shout. Hey Ross, please rate my team. Game week 2 bench boost. Sanchez, Murillo, Tarkovsky, Reinildo, Richards, Wirtz, Bruno, Palmer, Saka, Anderson, Watkins, Mateta, even Ilson. Love it. What would I rate it? I'd rate it a 9.1. What could I criticize it for? Nothing. Love the front line, by the way, of Watkins, Mateta, even Ilson. I love it, Chaz. Can't criticize that at all. Right, I'm going to leave it there then. Please, please, please. Oh, Haaland was the difference. Oh, one sec. How did I miss that? Oh, Haaland, Watkins. So what's the difference? Oh, so you take Salah. I'm so baffled what the difference is here. So it's Haaland versus Watkins. Oh, this one's got no Palmer. Okay. I couldn't spot. Okay. So it's Palmer and Watkins and Njai versus... So, Palmer and Watkins versus... Okay, I would prefer the Palmer and Salah version, personally, rather than the Haaland and Salah version. Yeah, this one here still. This one here. Okay, now I will absolutely, call it there. But thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it if you've been a part of the stream. If you're watching this back again, please subscribe. Please check out FootMob. It would go a long way to supporting me. Make sure to drop a like on the stream as well. I will be back tomorrow for the game week preview, Thursday for team selection, Friday for deadline decisions, and then there'll be a big boy game week 1 deadline stream on Friday. So hopefully see you there. Thank you so much for all of the support, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, guys.